Alhamdulillah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, may peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Have you ever sat alone at night staring at a future that feels too heavy to carry, wondering what will happen, where you will end up, and whether your heart will ever feel safe again? Have you ever feared tomorrow so much that even today became difficult to breathe through? There is a moment, a sacred moment, when the heart finally whispers, I cannot do this alone. And that whisper is the beginning of healing, because sometimes Allah allows the future to feel uncertain, so the soul returns to the only one who is ever certain. What if the future you fear is already taken care of by the one who never sleeps? What if the path you are scared to walk is already filled with angels you cannot see? What if the answer you've been waiting for is already written, already protected, already wrapped in a mercy you cannot yet understand? Allah says that He is closer to you than your jugular vein. He says, do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us. And yet the heart trembles, not because it doesn't believe, but because it forgets. So this journey is not about building faith from nothing, but uncovering what was always there beneath the noise of fear. Worry grows in the spaces where remembrance fades. When the mind travels too far ahead, it leaves the heart behind. But the future was never meant to be carried by human hands. It was meant to be left gently, trustingly, in the care of Allah. Remember, the Prophet taught us that if we were to rely on Allah with true reliance, He would provide for us the way He provides for the birds. They leave their nests hungry, but they return full. This is what tawakkul truly means, not seeing the entire path, yet still walking. Knowing that each step is guided by the one who created your feet. You are not asked to know what will happen tomorrow. You are only asked to take today and place it in Allah's hands. For He is the one who holds all of your tomorrows. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you have been waiting for a long time. Maybe the uncertainty is weighing on your chest like a mountain. But every moment you endure, every tear you wipe in secret, every silent prayer you whisper into the hands of darkness, they are all being gathered by Allah. None of it is lost. None of it is wasted. This is what sabr truly means. Not pretending to be strong, but knowing that Allah is your strength. Not knowing the future, but trusting the one who writes it. Not having control, but surrendering beautifully to the one who does. The future cannot harm you when its author is the most merciful. The unknown cannot scare you when its keeper is the one who loves you more than you can imagine. The delays cannot disappoint you when you realize they are preparing you for something far gentler, far wiser, far better than what you asked for. So breathe. Slow down. Return to the present moment where Allah is. Say, Ya Allah, I trust you more than my fears. I trust your plan more than my worries. I trust your mercy more than the unknown. And watch how the heart softens. Watch how the anxiety loosens its grip. Watch how the future opens. Not because you controlled it, but because you surrendered it. Your future is not something to fear. It is something already written with love. Stop worrying about what is coming. Walk with the one who is already there. The future belongs to Allah, not to our fears. This truth is simple, yet it carries a depth that can change the way your heart beats. We spend so much of our lives imagining what might go wrong, rehearsing pain that has not even arrived, building stories out of shadows that don't even exist. But the future is not in the hands of our fears. It is in the hands of the one who created time itself. When you understand this, something inside you begins to shift. You realize that your worries have no real power. They are only echoes of doubt, not the voice of truth. Fear tries to convince you that you are alone in what is coming, that you must somehow prepare for every possibility, that safety is your responsibility alone. But this is an illusion. Allah is the one who brings tomorrow into existence. He is the one who controls what reaches you, what passes you, what changes you, and what protects you. Your fear cannot rewrite His plan, nor can it stop His mercy. Often we hold on tightly to worry because we think it gives us control. But worry doesn't control anything. It only drains the present moment of peace. The future will unfold exactly as Allah wills, whether we worry or not. So the heart finds rest when it surrenders the illusion of control and remembers that the King of all kings is managing every moment ahead. When the heart truly believes that Allah owns the future, it learns to breathe again. It learns to live today with presence because tomorrow is already taken care of by the one whose knowledge is perfect and whose mercy surrounds every decree. When you trust that the future belongs to Allah, fear loses its authority over your life. Worry grows when the heart forgets who is in control. It is not that life suddenly becomes harder or that the future becomes darker. It is simply that the heart drifts away from the one who holds everything together. When the soul disconnects from remembrance, even the smallest uncertainty feels like a storm. A single thought about tomorrow can shake you, a single unanswered question can weigh on your chest, and a single fear can spiral into a world of imagined disasters. This is what happens when the heart becomes distant from Allah. It becomes vulnerable, restless, easily shaken by what it cannot predict. But the moment the heart remembers, even briefly, that Allah is the one managing every detail, something changes. The fear doesn't always disappear instantly, but its power weakens. You start to see that the things you worry about are not actually in your hands, and they never were. You begin to understand that the burden you're carrying was never yours to carry. Worry grows in the soil of forgetfulness, but trust grows in the soil of remembrance. When the heart forgets Allah's nearness, the world seems loud and threatening. But when it remembers His mercy, His promise, His constant presence, everything feels lighter. This is why Allah reminds us again and again in the Quran not to fear, not to grieve, and to rely upon Him. It is not because the world is free of trials, it is because He is greater than every trial. The heart is designed to depend on something. If it doesn't depend on Allah, it will depend on fear, and fear is a cruel master. But when you return to Allah, even with a single sincere breath, the heart softens. It stops racing toward imagined futures and returns to the safety of the one who never leaves. True peace comes from surrender, not certainty. The human heart longs for guarantees, a clear path, a predictable outcome, a promise that nothing painful will touch us again. We think that if we could only see the future, if we could somehow secure every step ahead, we would finally feel calm. But certainty of worldly outcomes has never brought real peace. Even when things align exactly as we hoped, the heart still fears losing them. Even when life feels stable, the soul knows how quickly things can change. This is because peace was never meant to come from knowing what will happen. It was meant to come from knowing who is writing what will happen. Surrender is a different kind of knowing. It is not ignorance. It is deep awareness. It is the awareness that Allah sees what you cannot see, knows what you cannot know, and protects you in ways you will not understand until much later. It is trusting that His wisdom is far greater than your plans, that His timing is more perfect than your desires, and that His mercy is wider than the fears you hold in your chest. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means handing over the reins to the one who never errs. When you surrender, the storm outside may continue, but the storm inside quiets. You stop fighting life. You stop trying to force outcomes. You stop begging the world to give you security it was never created to give. And suddenly the heart begins to soften. It begins to breathe. It begins to heal. You realize that the peace you were searching for was never hidden in the future. It was hidden in letting go. Peace comes when you say, Ya Allah, I trust you. Even when I don't understand, it is in that moment that the heart finds rest. Allah's plan unfolds in the perfect time, never early, never late. But the human heart, in its fragility, often struggles with this truth. We want life to move according to our schedule. We want answers now, relief now, clarity now. When something we long for is delayed, we hurt. When a door remains closed, we question. But what we forget is that Allah is not delaying us out of neglect. He is preparing us out of mercy. His timing isn't just accurate, it is divinely calculated to align with what your heart, your soul, and your destiny truly need. There are moments when you feel stuck, as if life is paused while everyone else moves forward. In those moments, it's easy to believe something has gone wrong, but nothing in your life is paused without purpose. Sometimes Allah withholds something because He knows you are not ready to receive it yet. Sometimes He delays because a blessing given at the wrong time becomes a burden. Sometimes He holds you back because what lies ahead requires a strength, a wisdom, a maturity you are still cultivating in the quiet spaces of waiting. Every delay is a conversation between you and Allah. It is His way of guiding you back to patience, back to trust, back to Him. If you knew what He was saving you from or what He was shaping within you, your heart would fall into prostration in gratitude for every unanswered prayer. His timing is protection. His timing is perfection. When the heart truly believes that Allah is never late, it stops rushing life. It stops forcing outcomes. It stops comparing its journey to others. Instead, it begins to walk with grace, trusting that whatever is written for you will arrive exactly when your soul is ready to receive it. Trust is built by remembering how many times Allah has carried you before. The heart forgets easily. It forgets the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, yet somehow you did. It forgets the moments when the world felt heavy on your shoulders, yet Allah lifted what you could not lift. It forgets the doors that opened when you had no strength left to knock, the blessings that arrived without you even asking, the protection that wrapped around you in ways you only understood much later. Trust doesn't grow from imagining the future. It grows from remembering the past. The real past. The one filled with Allah's mercy, not the one filtered through fear. Think back to the times you felt lost, uncertain, or broken. You didn't guide yourself out of those moments. Something greater held you, directed you, healed you. That something was Allah all along. When the heart remembers this truth, it begins to soften toward the future. It begins to say, if He carried me before, why would He abandon me now? This remembrance becomes a kind of spiritual anchor that keeps you steady even when life feels unpredictable. We often panic about what lies ahead because we act as if we've been walking alone. But you have never taken a single step without Allah being with you. You have never faced a single hardship without His support. You have never cried a single tear that He did not see. If every moment of your past has been filled with His mercy, then why should tomorrow be any different? Trust grows when you look back and truly see how every chapter was held, how every struggle was guided, how every fall was followed by a rise you couldn't have imagined. When you remember that Allah has always been carrying you, worry loses its power. The heart learns that the one who carried you yesterday is the same one who will carry you tomorrow. Fear of tomorrow disappears when the heart lives fully with Allah today. Much of our anxiety comes from leaving the present moment and wandering into a future that hasn't been written for us to witness yet. The mind begins constructing scenarios, imagining difficulties, and creating storms that have no basis in reality. But when the heart anchors itself in the present, in this breath, this moment, this gift from Allah, something shifts inside. The fear begins to loosen, because fear feeds on distance from Allah, and closeness to Him starves it. When you train your heart to be with Allah right now, not in some imagined tomorrow, not in a memory of yesterday, but in the stillness of this moment, the world becomes softer. You begin to realize that Allah is the one carrying you in this second, and that He will be the one carrying you in the next. Worry only grows when you think you must face the future alone, but when you know Allah will be with you in every tomorrow just as He is with you now, fear no longer feels necessary. Living with Allah today means filling your moments with remembrance, with gratitude, with small acts of worship that strengthen the heart and calm the soul. It means recognizing that the only moment you truly own is the present one, and even that is a mercy given by the one who loves you. When your heart is fully alive with the presence of Allah, you stop chasing what is beyond your reach. You stop fearing what hasn't arrived. You stop trying to survive tomorrow before tomorrow even comes. The secret is not in predicting the future. It is in grounding yourself in Allah's nearness right now. When the heart becomes present with Him, tomorrow loses its ability to frighten you. Because the one who holds today is the same one who will hold every day after it. Every delay hides a divine wisdom you cannot yet see. The human heart often equates delay with denial, as if Allah is holding something back out of punishment or disappointment. But in reality, delays are among the most tender forms of His mercy. When something is withheld from you, it's not because you are forgotten. It's because you are being prepared. You are being shaped, strengthened, softened, or elevated in ways that only hindsight will reveal. What feels like waiting is often Allah arranging things in the unseen, aligning hearts, shifting circumstances, and protecting you from outcomes that would have hurt you had they arrived too soon. Sometimes Allah delays a blessing because your hands are not ready to hold it. Sometimes He delays a person because your heart still carries wounds that would bleed into the relationship. Sometimes He delays a dream because there are lessons along the journey that you need more than the destination itself. And sometimes the delay is simply protection. Protection from paths that look beautiful on the outside, but are filled with hardship inside. What you perceive as nothing is happening is often Allah moving everything into place. Just because you cannot see the wisdom now does not mean it isn't there. A seed buried in the soil appears lifeless, but beneath the surface, it is breaking open, transforming, preparing to rise. Your delayed prayers are the same, silently being nurtured in the unseen until they bloom at the exact moment Allah chooses. Everything came to you instantly. You would never discover patience, resilience, humility, or trust. You would never feel the sweetness of relying on Allah alone. Delays carve the heart into a vessel that can hold greater blessings, deeper gratitude, and stronger faith. The wisdom will unfold when the time is right, and when it does, you will understand why waiting was not a setback, but a gift. Sabr is not passive. It's choosing calm because Allah is with you. Many people misunderstand patience as simply enduring, waiting, or suppressing emotions. But sabr is far more active, far more powerful, and far more transformative. It is a conscious choice the heart makes, not because life is easy, but because it knows that Allah is near. Sabr is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of trust. It is the quiet assurance that even when everything feels uncertain, Allah's support is certain. Sabr means holding your ground when fear pushes you to run. It means breathing gently when grief tightens your chest. It means standing firm in your faith when the world tempts you to give up. You are not passive in those moments. You are battling with your heart, choosing Allah over anxiety, choosing trust over panic, choosing perspective over despair. Every time you say, Ya Allah, I leave this to you, you are practicing sabr. Every time you stop yourself from assuming the worst, you are practicing sabr. Every time you choose to respond with calm instead of reacting with fear, you are practicing sabr. Patience isn't about waiting for life to change. It's about staying connected to Allah while it remains difficult. It is an act of worship, one that Allah elevates you through in ways nothing else can. Sabr builds you. It strengthens what is fragile inside you. It expands the heart's capacity to handle uncertainty without breaking. It teaches you to rely on Allah, not outcomes. And in every moment of sabr, there is divine companionship. Allah promises, indeed, I am with the patient. This means you never stand alone in your trials. You never carry your struggles without His support. The calm you choose is not your own strength. It is a gift from the one who sees every trembling in your heart. Tawakkul means tying your camel, then leaving the results to the one who owns them. It is the balance between effort and surrender, a balance that the heart must learn slowly, gently, through experience and faith. Many people think trust in Allah means doing nothing and expecting everything. Others think it means doing everything and expecting nothing. But true tawakkul is neither. It is showing up, doing your part with sincerity, using the means Allah has provided, and then releasing the outcome completely into His care. Tawakkul is the understanding that while you take the steps, Allah is the one who gives them direction. You plant the seed, but Allah is the one who makes it grow. You seek the job, but Allah is the one who opens or closes the door. You make the dua, but Allah is the one who decides when and how it will unfold. Your effort matters, but it does not control destiny. Your intelligence matters, but it does not guarantee success. Your planning matters, but it is Allah's plan that carries the final wisdom. This truth brings peace because it relieves the heart from trying to manage everything. You no longer feel the pressure of needing to get every detail right. You no longer fear mistakes as if they are powerful enough to ruin what Allah has written. When you practice tawakkul, you walk through life with humility and calmness. You understand that you are responsible for your actions, but not for the outcome. And that is a kind of freedom the world cannot give. Tawakkul isn't laziness. It's courage. It's the courage to act without fearing the result. The courage to trust Allah even when everything is uncertain. The courage to say, I have done my best, and now I leave what comes next to the one whose knowledge is perfect. When you live with this kind of trust, life stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a journey guided by divine hands. What is written for you will come to you even if the world stands against it. This truth settles the heart in ways nothing else can. You are not at the mercy of people, circumstances, timing, or even your own mistakes. You are at the mercy of Allah. And His mercy is vast, precise, and filled with compassion. When something is written for you, it is woven into your destiny long before you even desired it. No obstacle can block it. No delay can erase it. No opinion can diminish it. The entire universe could shift, and still, what is meant for you will find its way into your life at the exact moment Allah decrees. This is why believers walk with a quiet strength. They don't panic when doors close because they know Allah can open windows they never imagined. They don't break when something slips from their hands because they trust that if it was truly theirs, it would have stayed. They don't fear missing out because nothing written for them requires desperate grasping. When Allah intends for you to receive something, He will soften hearts, remove obstacles, bring ease, and align events in ways you couldn't orchestrate, even with all your effort. This doesn't mean the journey will be without struggle. Sometimes what is written comes through patience, through tears, through lessons that carve wisdom into the heart. Sometimes Allah withholds something until you grow into the person who can handle it. Sometimes He delays it because the blessing itself is not ready yet. Circumstances must evolve, hearts must change, opportunities must mature. But the guarantee remains, what is yours cannot be taken by anyone, and what is not yours cannot be held by force. This knowledge doesn't make you passive, it makes you peaceful. It invites you to keep walking, keep striving, keep making dua, without the heaviness of fear. Because nothing and no one has power over your destiny except the one who wrote it with perfect precision and infinite love. What is not written for you will never benefit you, no matter how tightly you hold it. Sometimes the heart clings to things because it believes they are essential for happiness, safety, or fulfillment. We hold on with fear, convinced that letting go would mean losing a part of ourselves. But what the heart doesn't always understand is that not everything it desires is good for it. Some things appear beautiful on the outside but carry harm on the inside. Some relationships feel comforting but quietly drain the soul. Some opportunities glitter with promise but lead the heart away from Allah. And when something is not written for you, holding on to it only prolongs the difficulty. There is a quiet mercy in Allah, removing things you were never meant to keep. It may feel painful in the moment, but sometimes what the heart calls loss is actually Allah's protection. Sometimes what feels like rejection is a divine redirection. Sometimes your unanswered prayers are the greatest compassion you will come to recognize later on. The heart resists this truth because it wants to control outcomes. It believes that if it tries harder, prays more desperately, or clings more tightly, it can force what was never meant to be. But destiny does not bend to human attachment. It aligns with divine wisdom. And when Allah takes something away, it is not to empty your hands, it is to free them. He frees them so they can receive something better, something more aligned with your soul, something that will nourish you instead of burden you. A blessing that isn't written for you will never bring you true peace. Even if you manage to grasp it, it will slip away or turn into a source of pain. But when you trust that Allah only withholds out of mercy, the heart begins to loosen its grip. It learns to let go gently, with dignity, with faith. And in that letting go, you find space for what is truly meant for you. Something that will come with ease. Settle in your heart with peace. And stay because it was always yours in the sight of Allah. Hardships purify the heart so it can receive what Allah has prepared. We often see pain as a punishment, as something that blocks blessings or pushes us backward in life. But in reality, hardship is one of the most delicate forms of divine purification. It removes what weighs the soul down. It peels away attachments that were harming us silently. It separates us from illusions we didn't realize we were depending on. Hardship is not meant to break you. It is meant to clean you, soften you, and prepare you for something greater than what you were holding on to. When everything is easy, the heart becomes distracted. It grows attached to comfort, to people, to outcomes, to its own plans. But when Allah allows a trial to touch you, it awakens the soul. It reminds you where true strength comes from. It reminds you who your protector is. It reminds you that you are not meant to lean on temporary things. In the moments of hardship, the tear-filled nights, the silent screams, the unanswered questions, the soul becomes raw, honest, and uncluttered. It turns back to Allah with a sincerity that comfort often cannot produce. Pain forces the heart to let go of what cannot stay. It teaches you humility, gratitude, resilience, and reliance. It removes the arrogance that says, I can do this on my own, and replaces it with the sweetness of, Ya Allah, I need you. This is not weakness, it is purification. Allah sometimes empties your hands because He intends to fill them with something better. He sometimes breaks your attachment because He wants to replace it with something more pure. He sometimes closes a chapter because the next one requires a cleaner heart. Hardship is not a detour from your destiny, it is preparation for it. It shapes you to receive blessings you could not have carried before. And in that purification, the heart becomes a vessel ready for mercy, wisdom, and gifts that only Allah can give. The soul finds healing when it releases what it cannot control. Much of our suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from our insistence on holding tightly to things that were never ours to manage. We cling to outcomes, to people, to timelines, to expectations, believing that if we grip hard enough, everything will fall into place. But the heart was not created to carry the weight of the world. It was created to lean on Allah. And healing begins the moment you allow yourself to let go of what was never in your power. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you stop trying or stop praying. It means you recognize your limits and you honor them. It means you understand that you can make effort, but you cannot guarantee results. You can love, but you cannot force hearts. You can plan, but you cannot shape destiny. The moment you release your tight grip and say, Ya Allah, I leave this in your hands, you invite peace back into your chest. You make space for clarity to enter. You create room for Allah's wisdom to unfold. Holding on too tightly is like trying to grasp water. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you release control and allow the water to rest in your open palm, it stays. The same is true for the blessings meant for you. They flow into your life with ease when your heart is open, trusting, and surrendered. When you try to force what isn't written for you, you only exhaust yourself and obstruct your own peace. Healing is not found in controlling life, but in trusting the one who controls it. When you let go, you stop fighting the tide. You stop resisting what Allah is trying to teach you. You begin to move with life instead of against it. And in that surrender, your heart becomes lighter, softer, and more aligned with the tranquility Allah promises to the believers who place their trust in Him. When you start embracing moments of discomfort as a natural and necessary part of your journey, you begin to unlock levels of growth that comfort could never give you. Discomfort is often the doorway to transformation, yet most people run from it because it feels unfamiliar, intimidating, and sometimes even painful. But the truth is, everything that truly strengthens you, whether it's emotional resilience, spiritual depth, physical endurance, or mental clarity, comes from facing situations that stretch you beyond your usual limits. When you stay in your comfort zone, you may feel safe, but you rarely grow. It is only when you push through uncertainty, challenge your fears, and step into situations where you don't have full control that you discover new strengths inside yourself. Discomfort teaches patience, humility, and adaptability. It forces you to slow down, reflect, and make conscious choices rather than reacting emotionally. It makes you more aware of your weaknesses, not to break you, but to guide you toward improvement. Every challenge you face carries a hidden lesson designed to prepare you for the next chapter of your life. People often wish for bigger blessings, higher success, and deeper purpose. Yet they hesitate to face the experiences that will shape them into someone capable of carrying those blessings. Growth always demands some level of pain before it brings reward. The discomfort you face today is shaping you in ways you may not understand right now. It is sharpening your character, strengthening your inner voice, and teaching you to rely on faith more than fear. Instead of viewing discomfort as a sign that you're on the wrong path, start recognizing it as confirmation that you're expanding into the person you are meant to become. Every time you choose to endure discomfort with patience and trust, you are building a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. A time comes in every person's life when they must decide whether they will remain who they've always been or rise into who they are meant to become. Growth does not happen by accident. It is a deliberate choice made again and again, especially when the journey becomes difficult. Every struggle you are facing is shaping you. Every challenge is preparing you, and every moment of discomfort is developing a strength within you that comfort could never produce. You were not created to live small, to stay stuck, or to settle for less than the greatness placed inside you. You were created to rise, to transform, and to evolve into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Do not fear the path that feels difficult. Fear the life that never changes because you refuse to take the difficult path. Your destiny is calling you toward higher ground, and it will require courage, patience, and faith. Step forward even if your legs shake. Move ahead even if your heart doubts. Trust that every step you take is guided. Every test you face is meaningful. And every hardship is building the future you prayed for. You have survived every storm that tried to break you, and you stand today not by accident, but by purpose. Now is your moment. Now is your time. Don't hold back. Don't look behind. Walk boldly into the life that is waiting for you. Your strength is greater than your fear. Your purpose is bigger than your pain, and your story is far from over. Keep moving, keep believing, keep rising. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.